Hey guys, it's Victoria and welcome back to FemmeHead. Today I wanted to talk about waking up early. I really enjoy watching videos where people change their habits a week of waking up at 5 a.m. and that sort of stuff. Like, I just enjoy those videos so much, so I kind of wanted to make a video inspired by those and talk about it. So I am more than halfway through my 30-day morning challenge that I've been doing with a lot of you guys. It has been a great thing. If you've been following along with that, you know my 4 habits I'm trying to change in the morning is waking up at 6 a.m., drinking a glass of water, exercising, and meditating. And so far all these habits have been going really well. Like, I haven't been perfect, but overall I've been doing better than I thought I would, or better than I've done with challenges by myself in the past. There was one night where I even went to bed at 1 a.m. and I still managed to wake up at 6 a.m. the next day and like make it through my day just fine. I'm not here to like brag or anything, but 6 a.m. doesn't feel early anymore. I really do feel like I could start waking up at 5:30 or 5 a.m., which is a crazy thought to me, but I think that's where I'm headed after this challenge is over. I'm gonna try to keep it at 6 a.m., see how it goes and be consistent with the challenge. But I think afterwards, I'm gonna keep it at 6 a.m. on the weekends and try to go for like 5:30 on the weekdays. Okay, so today I just wanted to share like how I've gone about waking up early. And I wanna start with a disclaimer, like, I don't have kids. I have complete control over my schedule and like my life and everything. I have it pretty easy and I realize that. But nevertheless, maybe something I share today could like inspire you or help you or motivate you in your journey to waking up earlier. So over the years, I've gone through phases of waking up early and waking up late. But before this challenge, I would say I would wake up usually between 7 and 7:30. The one thing I would allow myself in the morning of like my morning routine was I would make a cup of coffee and I would do my morning pages, and then I'd like rush to get into working because I was just like, oh my God, I need to start working. But I wanted to give myself time, more time in the morning to do other things that I really knew would benefit me, but I just wasn't giving myself time for. So the first thing I think in like any goal or any habit change is to think through what benefit that habit is going to have on your life. Like, what's the purpose to that habit? Because if you're just doing something to do something and not really thinking about why you want to do it, I think you're more likely to not do it. I'm making a lot of sense today. Some of the benefits to waking up for me that I thought of before the challenge and I've kind of seen carry out throughout the challenge: more time to get stuff done in the mornings that I want to do, like the other habits I was trying to add. I am a more productive person in the morning. I just feel better in the morning. I'm in the right mind space in the morning. I enjoy mornings so much, so why not just make them longer? I don't have that feeling of being rushed to like get started with the day when I wake up early, and I feel like I can move about my morning with ease and grace, calm, and it's such a great thing. Knowing that I needed to wake up early in order to get the other things done in my morning that I really wanted to do was a great motivator in getting out of bed every day. The second thing, and I know this is like, wow, Victoria, but I went to bed on time. So many of us want to wake up earlier, but we don't look at the night before. We don't change what time we go to bed. We say, oh yeah, I should probably go to bed an hour earlier, but then we go through our same routine and we're up at like 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the morning. And then how are we supposed to expect ourselves to get up in a couple of hours and feel rested and ready for the day? We're just setting ourselves up for a cycle of exhaustion and failure. So everyone functions differently on different amounts of sleep. Some people do really well off of 5 hours or 6 hours. Like, I know that my sweet spot, my Goldilocks amount of sleep is 8 hours. And I know that's very basic and boring. I know that's what I need. I really like sleep and I don't want to change up the amount of sleep I'm getting. I know I want to get up 6. I know I need 8 hours of sleep, which means I need to go to bed by 10 p.m. I also know that I can't just expect myself from like doing things, working, watching a movie, and then just going to bed. Sometimes you're exhausted and you just fall down and you fall asleep. I know that I have to help my brain stop spinning so quickly before I try to go to sleep, or I will never fall asleep. This is where just like a very basic, simple nighttime routine comes in. Setting yourself up to succeed with a habit beforehand is just going to help you all that much more. And because of all this, and because I've set a bedtime of 10 p.m., I've created a rule of no technology, no computer or phone after 9 p.m., so an hour before bedtime. If I sit there and I scroll through Instagram until 10 p.m. and then I'll go, oh, well, put my phone down, let's go to sleep, I know my brain's not going to stop spinning and I know it's going to be harder for me to go to sleep. So instead, from like 9 p.m., I try to read a book or sit there and have a conversation with Michael. And this just helps kind of power my brain down to go to sleep In this time frame, I've also gotten to the habit of taking the time to write down 3 gratitudes I have from the day, slow down and reflect on the day, and to also feel positive and happy about your day. Before that is getting ready for bed, you know, brushing my teeth, washing my face, putting on clothes to sleep in. Before that is dinner, tidying up a bit, and you kind of get the idea of you need to work backwards from your bedtime to make sure you can get everything done that you need to get done, and not like find yourself at 1:30 in the morning going, crap, I thought I was gonna get up in 4.5 hours and I'm not going to. The side of bed that you wake up on, and this sounds really cliche, but it really depends on what I do the night before. And that might just be me, but I have a feeling it's other people too. How you set up and prepare yourself really influences how something goes. One thing I got a year or so ago that I really think has helped is the sunrise alarm clock. Mine's from Philips and it was $100 and something, but it was well worth the money, and I definitely would recommend it to anyone that has trouble waking up, especially in the winter and the darker months. And that's when I find I use it. I love that I am eased out of sleep rather than like jolted awake by an alarm. Like, that is not a good way to wake up. Fills you with like anxiety and stress right away, and that is not a good way to start the day. My alarm clock starts its sunrise simulator, I think 30 minutes before my actual alarm goes off. It's a very low, deep reddy color, and it's very light and it's very subtle, and then it slowly gradually goes between red to orange to yellow to a bright kind of yellow white. And it's not super bright, you can set how bright that is, but that gradual sunrise, it really does help wake me up. And I find that I always wake up before my actual alarm goes off. I usually wake up between 5:40 and 5:50, and sometimes I'll just get out of bed, and sometimes I'll lay there and kind of just like let myself be woken up more by the light. That's best case scenario if my alarm doesn't go off. Even if the alarm does go off on it, it's such a gradual fade in alarm, and it's like a chiming or birds chirping, like I don't even know what it is because it's so soft and subtle. If you're asleep and it wakes you up, it's not that like jolt, it's not that like fear of like, oh my god, it's like, what is that? What's going on? And then you're like, oh yes, my alarm. And it's like such like a peaceful, like I feel like Snow White when it's like chirping at me. It used to be on the other side of the room on a shelf, but I moved it right next to my face. And some people need their alarms across the room, or they'll just like snooze it and go to bed. But that's the next thing. I'm not a person that snoozes their alarms. I have been known to just turn it off completely and go back to sleep. I'm good at just setting my alarm, and I know that's the alarm I have to wake up with. The no technology rule also carries over into the morning. I used to be so awful at my alarm going off. I would pick up my phone, I'd turn off my alarm, and I'd sit there and pull up Twitter, I'd pull up Instagram, and I'd sit there and I'd like aimlessly, mindlessly scroll for like 30 to 45 minutes. And it's such a bad habit. It's such a bad habit. I see so many morning routines where people are like, my alarm goes off, and then I pick up my phone and I check in on social media. If that's the time that you do it during the day, that's fine. I don't think it's a good thing to start your day with social media or with emails or like anything technology related. So I try to stay off it until at least 8 a.m. and sometimes later. I kind of give it a rule of like, you don't really need your phone until you start working. I really try to give myself my morning routine to just be like tech free. Sometimes I will post a picture to like my Instagram stories. I'm a get in and get done sort of person. I don't go, oh, well now since I'm here, I'll just scroll through it. I don't do that. Sometimes I do get on YouTube to find a yoga routine or something like that in the morning. I really try to stay off social media because it is a black hole. Another thing that I think helps me is knowing exactly what I need to do next, why I need to get up. I know that when I wake up, the next thing I need to like focus on is drinking my glass of water before doing my exercise or while I'm doing my exercise. And then I just kind of know my routine of I need to do this and then I need to do this, and it just kind of helps carry me out through the day. And I think if I just woke up and didn't have anything to do for 2 hours, I would end up like wasting my time or not getting up. On the very early mornings, like sometimes we get up at like 4 a.m. or so for races or travel, or if I wake up at a normal time and I just am exhausted, I have this habit of sitting there and telling myself, you can go to bed at this time. If you wake up now, Victoria, it's okay because you can take a nap later in the day, or you can sleep after a race as much as you want. And something about giving myself permission to sleep later helps get me out of bed, and I rarely follow through on that nap taking or going to bed early. Something about telling yourself that you can take a nap later if you want to helps me get out of bed, and I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be okay. I only take a nap like maybe once a month. I know that none of these things are rocket science. I really do think it's an uncomplicated process to changing your habits and waking up. You have to know the game, your own personal game, and how to beat yourself at your game, what your internal excuses are, and like what your thought processes are, and like how to override those for long enough to where you just kind of rewrite them. And that's a process I'm in now, telling myself like, well, yes, Victoria, you want to wake up early because you want to do all these things in the morning. You enjoy mornings. It gives you more time of the day. You're more productive over that like little voice in your head when your alarm goes off saying like, well, it's okay. You can just sleep a little bit longer. So I know none of this is groundbreaking discoveries, but it really is just what has worked for me this time. I also find that challenging myself is a great way to like shake things up. If there's something I want to do, something I want to change, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do a week-long challenge or a 30-day challenge. And in that way, making myself accountable for it helps motivate me a little bit more. Okay guys, that was a lot, but yeah, basically I've been waking up at 6 a.m. and it's been going great. It doesn't feel so early anymore, and I feel like I could start getting up even earlier. Let me know if you like this video by hitting the thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe to FemmeHead for more of me, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!